Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online this morning. I'm Reverend Mary Marie Shelton, the community spiritual leader here. And one of the things that we believe in Centers for Spiritual Living is that every single person is a manifestation of the infinite, all of us. We're all expressions of the one. So, because that's true, we want to make sure that the one gets welcomed in all of its different forms. So I would like to invite you to stand up now and say hello to people that you haven't seen in a while. Introduce yourself to anybody you don't know. Just mingle around and welcome each other. And those of you at home, welcome yourselves if you're not with somebody else. Have another cup of coffee or tea and get ready for a lovely morning. We're going to all be back to sing together momentarily. All right, come on back. We have our wonderful Daniel Nahmad on video with us this morning, and a little less long-winded than he sometimes is when he's introducing his music today. But I want to let you know that on the 6th of July, which is 2 weeks from today, Daniel will be here in person with us that morning, so we're going to have him here for live music. And then we're going to go over to the Sunrise Center, have a little potluck and a concert. So that's coming up, and you'll see it in the slides, and Daniel will refer to it at some point also in his introductions to his music today. So we are going to, if you don't know Daniel's music, he's sold over 110,000 CDs, and he's had his music performed on Saturday Night Live, The Voice, American Idol, the Super Bowl, and the Today Show. So the guy gets around, his music gets around, although he's not a known name necessarily out in the big world. But he's performed his music for over 1 million people in the US and Canada, and started his music career in 1999. His parents, I think, are both attorneys or something, and so they were kind of expecting their son to be, a suit and tie professional, but that was not to be Daniel's destiny. So please stand and join us in singing Swing Wide the Doors with Daniel, and you'll see the music, lyrics right on the screen here. So here we go.
Hey, my friends at Golden Gate, it's Daniel here in Orange County. I'm excited to see you guys soon. I'm going to be coming up the first Sunday in July, right after July 4th, to be there in person. But in the meantime, thrilled to be here this morning. Let's begin with this one. We have sung this together called Swing Wide the Doors. You ready? Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for. and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Nice job. See you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Daniel. So this is my opportunity to remind you to silence your cell phone so that we don't have any ringing, buzzing, beeping, and whooping happening unexpectedly during this service this morning. And also, now that we've sung and greeted one another, it's time for us to join together in consciousness within. So I want to invite up our morning practitioner, Reverend M. Louise Mann, who is going to pray us in right now. You can stand up here with me.
Well, so y'all just breathe in and remember who we truly are in spirit. That each one of us is a divine expression of God. What a wonderful realization to remember that deep guidance, that good that God is, that we are, is always available to us. And so in this moment, we just let everything else go and remember that one life that we all participate in, that sweetness of spirit, that joy of being together, all those wonderful, wonderful joys in living. And we remember that we are the beloved, that each one of us opens our hearts right here and now in this moment to receive that sweetness of remembering that we are one together, each of us, those in this room, those online, whoever hears these words, that memory that we are the beloveds of the divine, and that we are opening our hearts to that good and that guidance, and to remembering that all the wisdom that we need is always available to us within. And so I just celebrate that joy of knowing that here we are together, and here we are opening our hearts and minds to each other and to that divine expression of the one. And so I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God. I release these words into the law, knowing that they are done. And together we say, and so it is.
You've had to be strong for so long. You don't remember who you are. But when I see you, I see myself too. I know the child hidden in your heart. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. I know the ones who most hurt you are those you trusted most of all. But to forgive them is to live again and heal the heart of that child so small. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. We cry for a safe space, a quiet place to be, where a soul shows its true face, where love flies free. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. I understand. You're just like me.
This is the year when all of Centers for Spiritual Living is looking at the theme of rising higher and growing deeper. And it seems that, if you think back to when you were a kid in school, it wasn't enough for you to master whatever it was in the particular grade level you were in. It wasn't enough to be able to read or add and subtract. It wasn't enough to begin to understand more complicated concepts. It seemed to be the teacher's job to torture us always with new stuff that we had to learn that was more difficult than what we learned before. Does that sound familiar? Hello, yes? Yes. And we advance to the next thing. Now we have to learn the multiplication tables. We have to learn how to divide. We have to learn how to write a topic sentence, whatever the heck that is. We had to be able to write an essay. We had to know the parts of grammar. Some of us are old enough that we had to diagram sentences. I don't know if they do that anymore. But all of those things that we learned how to do, it was at the next level and the next level and the next level. And so I think that living in complicated times, maybe everybody lives in complicated times for wherever they are, in the world, or wherever that culture is in their unfoldment and development. But it does seem like the universe does a similar thing with us, where if we get to be pretty good at something, then a new challenge is introduced, or we create it ourselves, because we need to stretch, we need to grow and learn. So probably for 2025, as we're halfway through it right now, rising higher and growing deeper is a really good idea. And so we're in the midst of that process. And this month of June, the theme that I chose, which is related to the Centers for Spiritual Living theme, but not exactly, is open-hearted living. What does it mean to live open-heartedly? That is a huge challenge. Maybe it always has been, but it does seem to be a huge challenge for us in the world right now. We, from the time that we're pretty small, we begin to learn to be judging and discerning about things that are good or bad, things that happen are good or bad, people around us are good or bad, and that kind of thing. This policeman says, it was at the end of my day when I parked my police van in front of the station. As I gathered my equipment, my canine partner, Jake, was barking. I saw a little boy staring in at me. Is that a dog you got back there, he asked. Sure is, I replied. The little boy looked at me, then at the back of the van. Finally, he asked, what did he do? The association with the back of the police van or car was that that space was for a criminal and that the dog had been arrested for some reason, right? What did he do? So, in looking at the theme for today, I was remembering one of my teachers when I was in the School of Ministry, Reverend Henny Nouwen, who was Dutch. And she used a particular phrase about her approach to life that I've always remembered. She said that her intention was to lovingly expand to include. Lovingly expand to include more and more. That was her stretch, that was her desire. So our theme for this month is for today, is expanding our circle of love. And like most kinds of meditation that we do, we start with what's nearest to us and what's easiest and most comfortable in the beginning in order to begin to get a sense of the rhythm of something. And so if we want to expand our circle of love, it makes sense to start first with those that we already love, because it's easy. So our family, our friends, people that are dear to us, our pets, those that we know and are close to, it's easy for us to recognize our circle of love as including them. So when we are expanding our circle of love, it's good to anchor ourselves first in the love that we already feel, to enter into that place where we think of, our dear pets and their quirks, or our siblings, or close friends, or our parents or grandchildren, or other colleagues or relatives that we feel close to and comfortable with, that we feel that they understand us a little bit and we understand them. John O'Donohue, the Irish poet and priest, wrote, "Each stone, tree, place, and person is, in its depths, the expression of a divine idea." And our own founder, Ernest Holmes, in his book, A New Design for Living, said it would seem to be a fundamental fact of life that love is the basic reality of life. This would in turn give rise to a firm conviction that God is love. Not the coming and going emotional feeling of love, but something larger than that, something that is a way of being, an attitude, a vibration, a presence. That love is the essence of life. And if that's true, and if John O'Donohue's quote is accurate, then that means that we could consider expanding our circle of love to others beyond those that we're currently comfortable with. Alan Cohen wrote in Rising in Love, I had manufactured notions of who is lovable and who is not. I treated love, a spirit, like a commodity by reserving it for certain persons, those who loved me, and withholding it from the rest. And I think that it's natural for us to lean in that direction because we want to feel safe. We don't want to face rejection or feel like we might be hurt by somebody else. It's easy for us then to want the highest and best for those we already love. But if we want to expand our circle of love, then we need to go to another circle. And maybe the next easiest circle to go to actually is people that we don't have an attitude toward necessarily. Service people, plants, wild animals, that little tiny green thing, that's a little tiny frog in that dying rose there. That's a little tiny frog. And all of these service people are waiters on a cruise ship. I know, the waiters and the maitre d' on the cruise ship. And they're bringing out baked Alaska. Oh boy, big deal, whoop-de-doo. And so these folks that we interact with, we don't think about them really very often except for when we're right there with them. We don't have an attitude about them necessarily, unless somebody's particularly rude to us for some reason. So we can, without much effort and without having a lot of resistance to it, we can open to wanting the highest and best for these people who are in service, or for the wild creatures of the world that we don't really encounter and maybe don't think about that much unless we're part of, some group that specifically advocates for preservation of various species, or if we're involved in something that stands for unions and people who do that sort of work, or for trees and bees and other creatures. Unless we're involved in a particular movement or activity, we're kind of neutral. We don't really think about them. So it doesn't take a lot of effort, and we don't have any particular resistance to claiming the best for them or wanting the best for them. Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. And I think probably humanity cannot survive without service people. So we're grateful in a neutral kind of way for these folks and all that they do. So we can lovingly expand to include them. Why not? We can lovingly expand to include those who work on our cars, those who take care of the gardens, maybe those who maybe help out with the plumbing, and those who clean the windows, or those who help out in our homes, or our service people who help take care of our health, whoever they may be. We can expand. This little frog that I took a picture of in the park in Seattle totally charmed me just by his existence, but I had never given any real extensive thought to tree frogs, never. But in that moment, that little frog brought me a moment of delight, yeah? So I could want the happiest, wholeness, and best for this little frog, right? So that was an easy expansion from those I know and love to those I don't think about much, but who are an integral part of my life. And then we expand into the place where we're dealing with people that we know, but we have conflicts with. People who are a little difficult for us, people that we struggle with. So these are people whose behavior sometimes annoys us, or those who tend to blame us when we're sure they're projecting, but we're not. People that we already know, but opening our hearts to them is a little bit more challenging. Well, we can say, yes, I wish her the highest and best away from me. These are we think of things like that. And yet, the Persian poet Hafiz says, the place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. In other words, even those people that we have difficulty with, we're with them for a reason. Maybe they're the next level of mathematics we have to learn, or they're the next level of English composition, or whatever it is. They are the equivalent of that. They're the ones that are teaching us more about interacting with other people and relationships. We don't necessarily feel we want to welcome that, but we might consider that there is some advantage to learning to be neutral toward them, or learning to expand our willingness for their good even when we have difficulties and disagreements with them. Thomas Merton, the Christian mystic, said, "The beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit our own image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them." And people that we have more difficulty with, sometimes it's the very reflection that we're having problems with. They're reflecting something to us about us that we would just as soon disown or pretend isn't there or ignore. And we certainly don't want to be confronted with the behavior of somebody else that reflects that back to us. Is this making sense, what I'm saying? Yes? So we've taken our comfortable circle of love, those we know and already feel close to, expanding it to those that we don't know particularly well, but they're around us and we see them, being more conscious of including them. And now we expand a little more to those that we have some difficulty with, people that we know that we disagree with or that we have trouble with. It's a bit of a stretch to wish them well in all ways, but when we're practicing expanding that circle of love, meeting those struggles and those conflicts, breathing. HeartMath, the Institute of HeartMath, has proven that when we breathe in and out through the part of our chest that we identify as our hearts, when we do that, we begin to create a coherence between our brain and our heart, and our brain begins to calm down, to let go, and to become more neutralized. So we can practice that in situations when we're with people that we react to, people that we know that we'd rather not see or talk to. You know who they are. People who, when you see them walking toward you, you think, you wish that invisibility were one of your superpowers. That kind of thing, where we avoid rather than deal with. Can we breathe into a neutral space and hold good for them even as we disagree, even as we have this experience of being less than perfectly comfortable? I don't know about you, but long division was always a place where I would just as soon have run the other way. And yet, it has proven useful to understand long division as I've gotten further into my life. There are times when I just need to know how to do that. I could look it up. I mean, that's the cheat that's available now. But with these folks, there is no cheat. Avoiding isn't really the workaround, yeah? So we want to stretch a little bit more to consider that we could wish the highest and best for those folks as well. And then we move toward those that we don't know, but whom we have fear of, or we resist them, or we actively dislike them. Generally, these are people we don't know, but we are privy to their behavior and interpretations of their behavior all the time, through social media, through the news, through novels and movies, and all kinds of reporting, and through music. We are bombarded with these ideas. And so I took a photograph from the Vietnam War protests, where you have this meeting of one kind of law and order with another kind of priority coming together. What's going to happen? Is there going to be a violent conflict between these folks? For some reason, this young man chose to take the bold step of putting flowers in the barrels of the guns that were pointed at them. That was an unusual choice to make. maybe not one that would occur always to somebody to do. Mark Chernoff says, the way we treat people we strongly disagree with is a report card on what we've learned about love, compassion, and kindness. Ooh. The way we treat people we strongly disagree with. It's really challenging to open our hearts, to wish the highest and best for people we vehemently disagree with. And yet, if we can't somehow stretch ourselves to consider the possibility that the highest and best could be a transformative thing, we begin to change ourselves, but also we're contributing something to the larger consciousness of humanity. Thomas Merton, as I said, a Christian mystic, said this beautiful thing. He said, then it was as if I suddenly saw the secret beauty of their hearts. The depths of their hearts where neither sin nor desire nor self-knowledge can reach. The core of their reality, the person that each one is in the eyes of the divine. If only they could all see themselves as they really are. If only we could see each other that way all the time. There would be no more war, no hatred, no more cruelty, no more greed. I suppose the big problem would be that we would fall down and worship each other. I love this statement because he's speaking about this mystical practice of seeing through the veil of the appearance, even of the appearance of what the other person believes themselves to be. To see through all the hurt and all the misperceptions or misinterpretations and all of the stuff that has armored them, to see through to something, even if we have to imagine that it's there because we can't actually see it, and imagine that it's truly there because there's only one, and so it must be there, even if it never shows itself to us. Bringing that forward is an amazing, healing, transformative thing. It could be an amazing, healing, transformative thing for us, for our hearts. It could be an amazing, transformative, healing thing for the hearts of other people around us, even if it never seems to touch the person or people to whom we're trying to stretch to make that adjustment. Even if we never change our two perceptions of the world, maybe they remain diametrically opposed, and yet we're doing something radical. We're putting a flower into the very barrel of the gun that's pointed in our direction, metaphorically. Does this make sense, what I'm saying to you? Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is no fear in love, and there is no liberation from fear without love. Fear is always based on the supposition that we are unprotected, rejected, friendless. If the fearful mind would entertain love and the harmony and peace that go with it, then it must turn from everything that denies this love and, trusting in divine guidance, open its being to the influx of love. Not just love of God, but love of everything, for love is an all-inclusive conception." Gosh, that's tough to do. It's, I believe it. I absolutely believe that. Living in that consciousness, I find challenging. Anybody else find that challenging? So if we are in the process of expanding our circle of love and trying to move beyond shutting somebody out of our hearts because of fear or resistance or disapproval or vehement dislike of behavior, of attitudes. That's the place where the stretch needs to happen. But like anything else we're trying to learn, when we get to that more extreme, extended place, it requires more work, and we're maybe not so good at it. We maybe fall down a lot. We maybe think, this is hopeless. I'm never going to get this. I'm going to go back to the people I love. And that's what I suggest that we do. After we've done that stretching practice, that we end by coming back to those we love, those who charm us, those who touch our hearts, those who open our spirits. Because when we do that, we come back into the, oh yeah, this I can do. This is easier. This is present. I can do this right now. This wholeness is exactly where I need for it to be. And it reminds me of Alan Cohen also saying all human interactions, no exceptions, he doesn't say that, but I'm throwing that in, all human interactions are expressions of the statement, I want to feel love. I want to feel love. Yeah. And so there's this story about choosing to stretch a little bit, even if I'm not doing it right, even if I'm not doing it well. This is a story about the Baal Shem Tov. Now, the Baal Shem Tov was a Jewish mystic and rabbi. And it is said in Jewish tradition that in every generation there is one rabbi who knows the true name of God, the secret true name of God. Doesn't tell everybody, but who knows that name and is in communication with that essence. So the Baal Shem Tov was supposedly this particular individual. And I love this story about him. The Baal Shem Tov was dying, and he sent for his disciples. I have acted as intermediary for you, he tells them. And now when I am gone, you must do this for yourselves. You know the place in the forest where I call to God. Stand there in that place and do the same. You know how to light the fire and how to say the prayer. Do all of these, and God will come. Well, after the Baal Shem Tov died, the first generation did exactly as he had instructed, and God always came. But by the second generation, the people had forgotten how to light the fire in the way the Baal Shem Tov had taught them. Nevertheless, they stood in the special place in the forest and they said the prayer, and God came. By the third generation, the people had forgotten how to light the fire, and they had forgotten the exact place in the forest, but they spoke the prayer, nevertheless, and God still came. In the fourth generation, everyone had forgotten how to build the fire, and no one any longer knew just where in the forest one should stand, and finally, too, the prayer itself could not be recalled. But one person remembered the story about it all and told it out loud, and God still came. The compromise was on God's side. You do the best you can. That's your side of the bargain. And I am right there with you, no matter how poorly you do it or how bad your memory is. I will always come as soon as you remember any part of this. And so we are invited today to come back to our beloveds and to remember that we can reopen our hearts by thinking about those things that touch them. Why do you think Hallmark commercials make some of us cry? They're supposed to. The whole idea is to evoke a feeling of safety and warmth and love and home and security that is so touching that we open our hearts to the product that is being sold. Because as we hear those songs, as we see those images, it evokes the same thing in us, in those feelings, and we open. So we can do this for ourselves. In order to expand our circle of love, we go through this practice, or even just remember that it had been our intention to do this practice, and then turn our attention to those we love and let our hearts soften and open. Because that practice itself, with the intention to make space for that which is more difficult, just the intention, will allow God to come in and assist, to respond to that invitation, and to lift us up in that greater space of love, that higher vibration of what's true. And when we do that, we're expanding our circle of love. Namaste. Yes. So let's take a moment to anchor this inside ourselves. As we turn within, in this moment, there is no one in this room but God. There is no thing in this room but God. God, the mystery, the omnipresent, no exceptions, is fully in this space, everywhere we look, and within us, even in the thoughts that are difficult or the memories that are painful. That divine presence is still there. So in this moment, we bring to mind something about ourselves that we can feel love toward our minds, toward our hearts, toward our emotions or appearances, toward our relationships with family or friends or work or colleagues, toward our sense of humor or our ability to fix a car or change a tire or bake a cake or sing a song. As we hold that appreciation for that one thing in our hearts blossom open in this very moment. And healing is drawn into our minds and our hearts right now. We treasure this loving healing within us, and we allow it to expand and expand within us so that it affects and touches and blesses every person in this room, known and unknown to us. Every ancestor spirit who might be present around us, every guardian angel or spirit guide or God-realized one in the unseen. We extend love outward to these presences of love and blessing. We extend it out into the gardens around us so that everything that grows is receiving a blessing. We extend it out to everyone driving up and down Tamalpais this morning. We extend a loving blessing and open our hearts to everything around us, to everything in this room, to every person that had anything to do with everything in this room, which is millions of people. We are so grateful for our own ability to love, to feel love, to give love, to let love in. And today is our opportunity and our intention to receive love, support, assistance, acknowledgement, joy, and to allow love to flow forth from us into our conversations, into our interactions in our coffee time, into our appreciation of snacks and each other, into the welcoming and blessing of this beautiful day, for our lives, every moment of them, for the great blessing of growing and living and aging. We accept all of this good and allow it to be multiplied in our experience, in our awareness, in our lives. And we send this prayer out into that law of manifestation, which takes hold of it and acts upon it now. We let it go into the heart of God, where it always has been the truth of us, of everyone, of everything. We let this prayer go and we simply let it be. We let it unfold and unfurl as our experience right now. Claiming it then, together, we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand if you're able to and join me in today's affirmation. I'm making space to extend love in my prayers and meditations to all that is. I lovingly expand to include more in my life and in my heart, and so it is. You may be seated. I invite the ushers to come forward now as we prepare to receive the offering. And those of you that are online today with us, if you would like to make a contribution, a donation to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we would so appreciate that. We would receive that with great gratitude. And for those of us who are here in the room also, text donations can be made by texting the dollar amount to the number on the screen and then just following the directions. Those of you that have brought checks or other donations, or those of you that have made donations automatically throughout the month or the week, we're going to bless all of those right now. I just want to let you know too that this is a challenging time for Golden Gate financially. We're doing fine, and we do have our rainy day fund, to help us when we need for it to. But at the same time, I just want to be sure that you're aware that because some of our members have made their transitions, and because some of our practitioners have retired or moved away in retirement or stepped back from their responsibilities, that we have less income and less volunteering going on. And we bless what we do have. That's one of the ways that we multiply it. So we're going to bless this. And if you are in a situation where you would like to invite more abundance into your life, I invite you to bless every payment that you make for anything. If you are sending off an automatic payment, in your mind and heart, as you set that up, bless that payment and bless what you received for it. In the moment, do it consciously. This expands. As we expand our appreciation, our good tends to expand in response. So let's bless all of the gifts, including ourselves, because we too are a gift, and open our hearts to receive great good. Okay? So we send this forth with love by saying together, I'm going to invite you to put your hands over your heart. Those of you at home, please do the same. As we say together, this gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit or Jesus or Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. It's Mohammed, it's your mind, it's your soul or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power is what we are. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. Oh, what we are is It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
Yeah. Ah, yes, thank you, Daniel. So all of us in this room, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering and we send it out into the world for an expansion of the awareness of love, and that what human beings desire, no matter who or where they are, is really all the same. And so it is. Now, if you are here with us for the very first time this morning, I want to draw your attention to the table back here behind this section. This is our welcome table. It has all sorts of flyers and magazines and goodies back there. Feel free to take what interests you. Be sure that you get a welcome packet. It has a blue card inside that packet. If you'll fill that out and give it to Galen back there, she's going to give you a little book as a gift. This is our thank you to you for coming today, and also our invitation to come back and be with us often in the future. It's called Nourishing Thoughts. It's a little book of affirmations that is very easy to carry in a purse or in your pocket, so that in those moments when people annoy you the most, and you feel your heart closing down into a little rock, you can pull that out and open it up somewhere and take in a little nourishing thought to help you breathe and open your heart up again. Also, I want to thank everybody who was involved today in setting up. Now, I want to let you know that when I started this today, I had nobody for the altar and nobody for the practitioner, nobody scheduled. And I told the guys, as they had set up the basic format of the altar, I told them, just leave it. Just leave it empty. Folks need to see what happens when no one volunteers. They couldn't stand it, they volunteered. So our guys, our sound guys, set up the altar today. They did it because they didn't want to just leave it there empty. And I wouldn't let them take it down, so there was nothing. So just to let you know, if 3 guys who are busy doing sound can take the time to put together an altar, surely it's not that hard. Yeah. So if you've never volunteered to do an altar, there is a sign-up sheet back there on the back table where you can choose to fill in any of the dates that aren't already assigned. And Karen Frost is out of town until next week, but when she's here next Sunday, ask Karen about it. She'd be happy to tell you where the materials are you can use and how to go about it. So I encourage you to try that. Reverend M. Louise is usually my go-to when we don't have anybody on duty, although Marilyn was here today too and would have happily stepped up as a practitioner. So some Sundays we don't have a practitioner scheduled, but generally one of the ones who's here will be willing to do it. And we also have, and Frank is also often available and willing to do it as well. And so there we have our backup team. So I want to let you know, first of all, July 6th, 2 weeks, Daniel will be here on Sunday morning. As I said earlier, to do our music, he'll be set up right over here. And then we're going to go over to the Sunrise Center and have a potluck. So that means bring something yummy to share. Now, I don't have a sign-up sheet out for that. Paula will probably have heart failure, knowing that I haven't tried to organize this. But last time we did a concert, we didn't really organize it, and it worked out really well. So if you came last time when we did this with Gary Lynn Floyd and you brought something, bring that again. It worked before. Or something like that. And if you didn't come, bring something yummy to share. What we'll do is we'll go right on over there pretty soon. We won't have snacks here, but we'll have coffee. But then we're going to go over there. So everybody just come on over there. We're suggesting a $20 love offering for everybody. If you cannot give that, that's okay. And if you could give a little more to cover somebody who couldn't, that will allow more people to be there. So we encourage you to come. Daniel's going to do a concert as soon as we have lunch, so it probably will start before 1, actually. So let's just have a marvelous time together on July 6th with Daniel. And just be prepared to know that we don't just sing when Daniel is with us. You know, Daniel does little mini stories and lessons about where the song came from or what he's trying to impart with it. So we will sing with him, we will listen to him, and we will hear some great stories. Be prepared for a full-blown concert experience with Daniel. Also, our next opportunity at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank is coming up on Tuesday, July 8th. From noon to 2. If you would like to be part of the service team over there, it's just 2 hours from 12 to 2 once a month. And Ellen Nicosia is here this morning, and you can talk to Ellen if you'd like to be part of the team, or you can just leave her a text or email or voicemail message with your info by July 1st, because the food bank needs to know who's coming and who we have with us by the 1st. Also, Leslie Giannetti, one of our wonderful prayer practitioners, is continuing to do her coffee and faith-sharing conversations, and this takes place on 4th Street in San Rafael at Cafe Aroma, 10 a.m. on the second Wednesday of the month, so that's coming up on July 9th, and you can just go there and join in with those that are going to be there. So let's invite the practitioners now to surround the room. I want to remind you of the power of prayer and prayer requests. You know, you don't even have to sit with a practitioner if that makes you nervous. Just put your prayer request in the box. But I highly recommend sitting with a practitioner either at your own appointment or immediately after the service. Anne Sullivan, who is here this morning at the prac table, will be available for you. Just go over to the table if you'd like a prayer this morning. And if she's gone for the moment with one of our members for prayer, she'll be right back to get you in a few minutes. Just hover there. All right? So right now, I'm going to invite the practitioners to join with me in consciousness as we turn within. And we bless this day and this week, knowing there is only one infinite presence everywhere, in everything and everyone, at every moment, always. It is not limited by time or space. So in a healing that we want to open to, even healing of the past or healing of the future, we can call it forward right now in that one presence which is already there, in the always, in the ever-present, unlimited. We open to that part of ourselves that is that one, unlimited. We call forth healing for our childhood. We call forth wisdom and guidance from the future to draw us forward into our highest selves. We draw the highest and best for life toward humanity, toward all life, toward all beings, everywhere. We open our hearts in this and allow it to bless this week and every step we take, every intention that we enter into. We're grateful to remember that we can do this at any moment and that it is powerful and transformative as we allow it to be so. So we step into that right now. We invite it, we receive it, we share it to the greatest degree that we can. We lovingly bless this prayer and release it into the creative law and into the divine presence now, and simply let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand with us now and join us for the closing blessing and song. I say us, rhetorically, because I'm sitting, but if you can stand, please stand as we say together, I now walk, so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is. Take it away, Daniel.
Friends, I think I have the right song to close today's service. Lucky me. I wrote it in around 2000, right around the same time I wrote One Power, and I've always thought it was easier to sing than to live by. It's a song called Love Is My Decision. Not about being perfect, not about being a saint, but about opening up just a little bit more, loving a little bigger, being a little more inclusive, widening the circle, just a little bit at a time, one day at a time. It's enough to do that. So we're going to sing Love Is My Decision together to close, and I'm very excited, sincerely, to be coming back to visit. I have enjoyed my visits in the past so much, so thank you in advance for having me. Celebrate July 4th. Have a great time. Happy birthday, America. Be safe about it. And then 2 days later, I will be there on July 6th to sing at your Sunday service and to do a little summer concert afterwards. Going to be a very fun day. Really, really excited about it. And in the meantime, ready to sing together? Here we go. Thanks again. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge, to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive, can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. One more time. Here we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to dance down that road, to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you so soon. Can't wait.